Renee Thomas Hockley is here. Her book is called Once Upon an Amateur Mom, which you should go on Amazon right now and check out right away. She's a former elementary school teacher with a master's in literacy, and Renee brings both educational insight and lived experience to the page. She and her husband, Dan, who is a retired military judge and officer in the U.S. Air Force, they raised 8 children across 6 states and 2 countries, from Utah to the Philippines. And Renee's first book is called Don't Come In Here, Throwing Spaghetti, and she captured the beautiful chaos of parenting with humor and heart. So we are here to talk about some of these ideas, perhaps the Mother's Minutes column, raising kids, and everything else we need to know about children, parenting, everything in between. So Renee, glad to be speaking with you.
Thank you, Robert. I'm glad to be here.
Glad to have you here. And so, what did I leave out in that introduction? What are you currently up to? What's your focus and passion?
Well, what I'm up to now is just grandchildren, having them over as much as I can, and just being with my kids. They seem to like each other even to this day. And this morning, they were out biking, and the 2 of the older sons were out biking together, and they just have a good time together. And that's a joyful thing for me.
Oh yeah, family is important. And you hear about with grandparents, they say that it's kind of like parenting the second time around, only you don't have the responsibilities and you can, spoil them and have a lot of fun. And so can you tell me about just the whole like grandparent experience? How's it been? What do you like about it?
The best thing I like about it is after the fun and the food that we have at my house or at their house, then they go home and sleep at their own houses. And I have no responsibilities for that. I just have to laugh and say, "Well, good night. Have a good evening. See you next time."
That's
So
great. So
yes,
no responsibilities, you get the upside.
I get all the upside. Yes, all the
Well,
upside.
very cool. Well, I'm curious about your authoring these kids books that you have. So, what's that about? What have you been publishing?
Well, the books are experiences that we had raising our children, and just little pockets of joy that we found in raising our children. Um, they're not really serious. They're more of just the lives that people do. Let me just see here. What can I find something here? Okay, how about a lesson on folding laundry? I'll just start
Okay.
reading this. I enjoy folding laundry, and I'm good at it. After watching a laundry folding demonstration on TV that featured a famous celebrity in a long counter, I gave myself an A+. My family of 10 has provided me with the opportunity to perfect the talent of folding any article that comes out of the dryer without a long counter and in midair. What can I say? So then it just goes on and tells a little bit about folding laundry, which every mother does.
Of
And
course.
there's just different incidents um, in the book of things like that every mother goes through, every parent goes through, like this other one. Here's another one. The title is Three Little Words. Mothers are masters of cut to the chase. Here are a sample of their 3 little word directives. Brush your teeth. Make your bed. Pick it up. Wipe your nose. Wash your hands. Call your sister. Not so fast. Where's the aspirin? Turn it off. Do your homework. No more cookies. There are more, but I'll just leave it at that.
gives us an idea. Well, I like it.
Yeah.
So it seems relatable and whimsical, and you figure when we're kids, we have to learn all these things, and then we're adults, and we're like, oh, cool, freedom. And then next thing you know, you have a little one, and you have to reteach them all the basics of life, and then
Yes.
grandparent, and you have to go through all over it again. So, like, who's this for? Is this so? It sounds like this is a book for parents, not primarily for kids, right?
Oh, yes. This is a book primarily for moms. I do have some dad readers, but mostly moms who just need a break, maybe, and
Sure.
who need to see the joy in it, because day to day, when you're spending time with your children all the time, and there's always something that um, is challenging in a day. Maybe many things are challenging in one day, and you need to have joy every day as well. So my book is lighthearted. It's just helping a mom of any age to just breathe and realize the task, the the big picture, what she's really doing, which is the most important job in the world in my thinking. I mean, there are 4 billion billions of billions of mothers in this world, but only one mom. I just
Yes.
love the idea of, like, well, you can say that there's billions of fathers in the world, but only one dad for your little boy that you were telling me about earlier. Only one. There's only one of you,
Right.
and
Well,
that's a
great. Well,
big
I'm
big thing to
now
think about.
I'm curious about your own history, right? Because it's one thing to say, okay, well, I've got this book and I get all these silly stories, but I mean, you raised all those kids, all sorts of different locations. I'm sure you didn't have it all figured out, especially at first. So, what were the hijinks, the mishaps that went on in your parenting?
Oh, my. Uh, well, just one that comes to mind was I had the idea of that it would be a good idea to just put the honey jar on the bottom of the circular thing that goes around and around. What are those called?
Lazy
Well,
Susan?
so yeah, lazy Susan. Thank you, Robert. Thank you very much. But so but I put it in the back, just kind of hiding it from the kids. Well, they found it, and I was somewhere else in the house, and when I came back into the kitchen, you can you can guess what had happened. Is like there was honey all over the floor, all over the kids' faces, all over the bread. It was just one of those things that you just had to stop the world and um, clean it up, clean the kids up. Everybody had to take a bath, and just, and at the time, it was not, I wasn't enjoying myself, and I was scolding myself for having such a crazy idea of putting the honey on the bottom of the Lazy Susan. But now, as I look back on it, it's just like one of those joyful times when I realized that I need to think a little harder about where I put things. And just when a disaster happens, as we all know as parents, disasters are going to happen, then
Of
you're
course.
able to cope with it and realize that almost nothing about being a mom or a dad is easy.
Right. Agreed.
It's all
And
challenging.
you always challenging, unexpected surprises, and feeling dumb, like, oh, I shouldn't have left that on the bottom shelf. And what can you do than just admit the mistake, accept it, move on, and do better next time? Well, I think when you mentioned that about how you just embrace the silliness of that situation, I think pretty much everyone has an experience of maybe seeing their parent like mad or yelling at them and things like that. And we always hope that as parents, we do better than the previous generation. And so, do you have any parenting advice as far as maybe mistakes you've made or mistakes you've seen that we can learn from and apply to ourselves to be better parents?
I try not to advise other people about their parenting because everyone is so different and everyone has different ideas of like bedtime or it could be any topic. Um, my main message is one mother's journey is like none other, and that mothers link humanity's past to its future. So
Ooh.
when a mother grows up, then she turns into a grandmother, and it's just I guess if I had one idea of advice that I really feel strongly about is do things your way and do things with love and with joy and um, realize that you're not going to solve all the problems. You're not going to be um, the best mother or the mother that you even thought you might be able to be. What you're going to understand when you get where I am now is parenting is a banquet. It's not a tea party. It's a banquet, and it takes a lot of work, and it takes a lot of love, and it's hard work, and and there's some failure in it, but the success and the joy always ends to be the thing that you love because you're always going to love your children, even the ones who slide down the slide and break a leg, and they're going to do foolish things just like you did foolish things when you were a child. And you, as the parent, now you're in the position to be on that other side of it, to where you can help them to make their way and to grow up, and then you're going to be able to love them even more, and hopefully even to be able to love their children, and then you can really start smiling about some of the things that your own children are going through with their children. And
Yeah.
it's a cycle. It's a wonderful cycle. It's a wonderful cycle. It's a cycle of life, and it's great. Not always. It's not always great, but it's it's the purpose. It's a purpose, an important purpose of life. And I love it. I do love it.
Well, that's a great message. And I can tell you've thought this through. And it's wonderful to think about this, so that you're saying that everyone's parenting is custom, and we need to do our best and have the love and the joy, and know that it will never be perfect, but it is a journey. And then you'll have those repeat cycles where you then see it on the other side of it, right? You were a kid, then you're a parent. You're a parent, then you're a grandparent. It's just wonderful to think about it. And I'm curious about I guess there's two aspects about your own parenting, right? There was like that kind of military, like you always think of like the disciplinedness, and then there was the always being on the move. So what do you have to say about that? Like, what were the challenges or the adventures like with those two aspects? The always moving to a new city or country, and then dealing with the military aspect.
Uh, an advantage that we had in the military was because we had six sons, which we didn't exactly plan that, but they took their they took their best friends with them, so they always had their best friends wherever we moved to and from. Then we always had their best friend, and also sometimes they would get into spats, and of course then it would be like I had a favorite way of dealing with that. When they started to get into spats, I would just open the back door and say out, and they had to go outside and figure it out outside because I didn't want them yelling and causing problems inside. So no matter what the weather was, if they got started, throwing balls in the house or doing whatever boys do, which is quite a range of activities, then I would just go to the back door and just say out, and I knew that they had to go until they had it all worked out, and then they could come back in. So maybe I'm a
Nice.
mean mother, but yeah, it worked.
We
But
call that tough but fair, right? Having boundaries.
exactly.
Well,
Oh,
now
I
I'm
don't.
curious about how that led to your writing, because correct me if I'm wrong, my understanding is like you wrote a column and you were in Reader's Digest, but I'm just, doing some Googling on you. So you tell me what happened as far as your literary achievements.
Well, when our oldest son graduated from high school, I was very sad because the time had gone by so fast, and I felt like I hadn't done enough, and I felt sad that he was going to be leaving for college and all of that. And I just sat down and just wrote um, uh, my feelings, and I called it Graduation Day. And after my husband came home, he read it, and then he said, "Oh, you should take that down to the paper." We happened to live in Mountain Home, Idaho at the time, so I took it to the paper. They published it, and then they said, "Well, you need to send this to Reader's Digest." And I'm like, "Reader's Digest?" And so I did do that, and they published it, and that kind of got me at the with the idea of like, and my husband said, "Renee, you need to write some of these things down because other women, other mothers are having these same experiences, only they're all different, and they would enjoy this." So that's where I started my column, and some papers picked the column up, and that's how I started, and I enjoy it.
Well, very cool. I can tell you enjoy it, and it's good to help others and to have those initial successes you get in the local paper, and then that leads to bigger and better things. And speaking of that, you have this book that we mentioned when we first started talking called "Once Upon an Amateur Mom." And what can you tell us about this book and other books that you're working on?
Um, I can tell you that it's 100% true, and it was just, and it's lighthearted. There's nothing in there that's going to tell a mother what she should do, what she shouldn't do, how to raise a child, how to be the best mother, how to do anything really. It's not a how-to book in any way, shape, or form. It's more of a book of just um, joy, where I believe that any parent who picks up this book and reads a few of the incidents is going to say, "Oh, that reminds me of," and then have an experience in his or her mind that is relate that they'll connect with, and that they'll say, "Oh yeah, that was just like blah 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 that happened in my life," and that they can just laugh and say, it's really fun being a parent. It's hard, but it's the main thing."
Yeah, it's the main reason for existing, right? To raise a family and help them out. And like you mentioned a few minutes ago, this idea that life just flies by so fast. And
Oh, it does.
if you're so worried about paying your bills and going to work and all the adulting, then you don't enjoy it. And then the time passes, and what do you have to show for it? And so it very makes so much sense and is logical to do your best to say, well, that there is difficulties and there is hard stuff in life, but we also need to enjoy those little moments because it will fly by so fast, and you'll think back to when they were this high and they were this high, and we just need to make our best and enjoy the moment. And so, tell us about how we can find out more about you. You have your books and you have your website. If someone says, "Oh my gosh, this Once Upon an Amateur Mom and her other books, I have to go and get them," where should they go?
Well, right now, I have it on Amazon, but they upped the price. So, and they're only selling the hardbound copy. So I guess if you wanted to get one that's not expensive, it's just um, the paper bound, this one, then
Okay.
I guess you could write, or you could send me an email and I could figure out how to get it to you. Because right now the paper bound I don't think are on sale on Amazon, and frankly, I wouldn't pay $25 to buy my book. So I I I don't know what to say. Maybe I can talk the Amazon people into putting the paperback back on instead of just the
Well,
hard copy. I don't know.
when
You
I'm
give me
on it
the
right now,
idea.
the paperback works for me. So maybe it comes and
Okay,
goes.
exactly.
And so, yeah, just at least as of this podcast recording, there's the hardcover, there's the paperback, there's the Kindle, there's the audiobook, and the paperback showing is $14.99 for me.
Oh, really? Okay,
Yeah,
that's a lot better. Well, maybe I just haven't looked recently enough to see them. Maybe you have changed it back to a better price. Yeah, that would be
maybe
great.
we had some good luck, but it's still good to know where to go. So on Amazon, someone can search "Once Upon an Amateur Mom," and you find that book that's written by you, Renee Thomas Hockley, and you know you're at the right place. That's last name Hawkley, and then there's the website reneethomasHockley.net, and you mentioned an email address, and hey, just in case the paperback's not there, or someone wants to say, "I loved your book, I read it, I enjoyed it," what is that email address in case someone wants to email you?
Let's see. You would ask. I hope this is right. I think it's just ReneeHockley@gmail.com.
Okay. ReneeHockley@gmail.com, ReneeThomasHockley.net, and then Once Upon an Amateur Mom is that book that is available on Amazon. It's a collection of Renee's uplifting, timeless, and light-hearted writings offered with love and encouragement to all who are invested in the most frustrating, most fascinating, and most fantastical world of parenting. No matter how long it takes, no matter how much it costs, no matter how many times you pick yourself up, dust yourself off, and start all over again. That is Once Upon an Amateur Mom by Renee Thomas Hockley. And as we're heading there, and before I let you go, Miss Renee, I like to end these by asking about a fun quote or lesson that has served someone in life. So you've been through all these parenting ups and downs. Does a quote or lesson come to mind to help us through, to be relatable, to just make us feel good?
Okay, I have one, and that would be Mothers link humanity's past to its future. That's it.
I like it. That's it, and it can be that simple, and it's important, right? Link the generations together. Renee Thomas Hockley, author of Once Upon an Amateur Mom on Amazon. Go ahead and get it right now. You heard that excerpt. You heard a little bit about what's in there. There are sections on patriotism, and there are sections on faith and families, grandparents, holidays, food, parenting. There's something in it for everyone. So go ahead, check it out right now. Once Upon an Amateur Mom by Renee Thomas Hockley on Amazon. Miss Renee, thank you for being here and entertaining us and teaching us a few things. I appreciate you helping us out and being a good time. So thank you.
Thank you so much. And can I just say one more thing? And that would be Mom is the title that lasts. Mom is the title that lasts.
Very good. Mom is the title that lasts. Once Upon an Amateur Mom by Renee Thomas Hockley.
All right. Thank you, Robert.